copacetic. Everything is copacetic.
Yeah, boy!
Welcome back to another episode of Bassick Conceptz, perfect podcast for never. I think we're on episode 50. Are we? I think so. First order of business. Anchor.com. It's not Anchor.com. I lied to you. It's Anchor.fm. Those guys got the truth on podcast uploads. That's where I upload all my podcasts. They distribute your audio to all the different platforms. You can check out the link below, listen to my podcast, or you can upload your own. But Anchor.fm. Those guys are the truth. Secondly, my Patreon. Check out my Patreon below if you want to donate, if you want to help me keep this running. Your donations and all your support is truly appreciated. So make sure you check out my Patreon, get involved there. There's a whole bunch of levels you can get in, and there's a bunch of different prizes. Not prizes, but you know, the things, the perks. Like I do chart readings and all that other nonsense. But yeah, check out my Patreon to help me keep this running. I love you, and the perfect ninjas will fucking live forever. So, what do we get into? Firstly, water. Drink water. Y'all don't be drinking enough water, man. It's summertime. How's about that ASAP Rocky fight? Very weird, huh? It's only weird because he's locked up in Sweden. By the time you see this, he'll probably be probably still in jail in Sweden or let out. I don't know what difference it makes. Very funny situation. If you're not familiar at this point, ASAP Rocky has been turned into a political prisoner for some reason. So as it goes, some dudes who were like, I don't want to say they're Swedish locals because it sounded like they were speaking Arabic, but some dudes who were locals, there's a couple guys, they were following ASAP and his crew. Well, that's the video we get. We get the video. It starts when ASAP's following them. And I don't like these kind of situations because then it becomes like, who did what first, and we don't see that part. And that's what a big part of this is all about as well. It's a big part of why the government's holding him, because they got to get to the bottom of all the details. The first video that you see is these two guys following ASAP and them, you know, kind of like being like, hey man, what's up? Like, he's complaining about his headphones. And a lot of people watching these videos are like, oh, you know, he smashed his headphones on the guy's head, so it's his fault his headphones are broken. I get that. That happens. You do realize before that happens, he's also complaining about his headphones. Meaning there was something that happened involving that kid's headphones prior to what we're seeing that was like, we don't know. But the long story short is these guys follow ASAP and his crew so long, and ASAP and his crew is like him, his bodyguard, and then like 4 other dudes or 3 other dudes deep. And they follow these 2 dudes follow ASAP. They're trying to like walk away. They're trying to walk away the whole time. Like, hey man, don't want to get in trouble. Don't want no problems. Don't want no problems. Don't want no problems. Don't want no problems. No beef. And then they jump the 2 kids. Oh my god. And then that's it. And then all that shit was caught on tape. But they like really jumped it. They washed those 2 kids. That's the thing. And it was very un-ninja-like. I will say that off the bat. And that's really much that there's to it. It's like you can do a play-by-play, but at the end of the day, there's so much involved with this situation that it's super surprising that ASAP Rocky decided in his mind that he needed to put his hands on somebody. This is why celebrities have bodyguards. This is the exact reason why you hire security, and also why you maybe possibly want to call the police or something. But see, then the thing is like, oh, no snitching and blah blah blah. But there's a difference between snitching and like covering your ass, because now ASAP's in fucking jail and nobody knows where he is and what's up with it, you know? And then it's like a human rights issue, which is the best part. We won't even fucking touch that. But, you know, I don't even want to look at the play-by-play. Like, we're going to. But I don't want to. I really don't want to. I don't want to. We're gonna like. I don't want to. I don't want to. I think it's stupid to fucking. You go figure out. You watch it. I don't want to play that clip. It's so overplayed. Go to ASAP Rocky's Instagram and check it out. You know, he claims he's innocent and all this stuff, whatever. So these guys are following ASAP and his crew. They get jumped. They get jumped. The reason why it was a ninja-like is because they didn't square up evenly. They didn't put two guys against two guys. It was like 4 or 5 guys against these two guys. So they jumped them, essentially. No matter how annoying someone gets, you don't jump someone. Also, ASAP put his hands on someone. He put his hands on someone. Not to say he shouldn't, but that's why he hires his bodyguard. Why have a bodyguard? And then the gang shit. You know, like if my boy's fighting, then I gotta fight too. I kind of get that. My father raised me. That's like, I'm gonna say some hood shit. That's some family shit or whatever. My father raised me like that. And, you know, it's funny because the way you circumvent that is by hanging out with people who aren't violent. So let me explain to you what I'm saying. Those guys who were hanging out with ASAP, they had to fight. First of all, we don't know where they are or where his security guard is. Everybody's fighting for ASAP's freedom, but nobody knows where those other guys or if those other guys got arrested or not. And nobody cares. They're like, free ASAP. He made deep purple. Purple swag. You know, if ASAP fights and you're in ASAP's crew, you have to fight. You can't be like caught in the footage not fighting while everybody's like putting hands on someone, because it's that gang shit. That's how gang shit really works. It's kind of like that street code, you know, like the black Umberto, the no snitching. It's kind of like, if I go down, we're all gonna go down, which you would think that they're all going down, but I don't know. It seems like only ASAP is in jail because of this, apparently. It seems. Nobody fucking knows anything. I don't know shit, man. That's the thing. This is all news from social media. TMZ is your CNN. Fuck shit, man. And the only reason I'm talking about it for so long is because people are talking about human rights. Where were those kids' human rights when you were fucking flipping them, you know, onto the sidewalk? Don't mistake this for defending those stupid kids. But ASAP's a smart guy. He's street smart. And there's a way to avoid confrontation. And it has nothing to do with fucking tossing somebody. Hands. Yo, there were like 4 guys and 1 kid. I don't care how long somebody's following you, man. That's very un-ninja-like. But whatever, man. Fucking do you. Everybody in their fucking street shit. Oh, if I was him, I'd do the same thing. That's why you don't have millions of dollars. What did Chappelle say? Shoulda never gave you niggas money. No, it's not like that. It's just like, yo, You're too famous. If you hang out with the fucking Kardashian family, you shouldn't be trying to put your hands on people. Unless you're on like a fucking reality TV show where you got people to hold you back. But that was some raw, undignified street shit. And that's how they take care of street shit. Now, is it fair? No. Is it fair to ASAP? No. Should he get a phone call? Maybe. Did he? I don't know. Nobody knows. You don't know shit. We don't know. Oh, he didn't get a phone call. You don't know. You don't know. Same thing with the Nipsey Hussle situation. You don't know. You don't know nothing. You don't know, and you don't care. That's the best part. You don't care. You don't care because ASAP doesn't care. ASAP. Oh. Yo, he did a post, and everybody's upset that people talked about this post, but it was like related to Ferguson. And they were like, oh, don't you feel like you need to speak up for Ferguson? And he was like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna be black anyways. I just want to talk about sipping lean and getting these bitches panties. I mean, fucking don't let me misquote him. Joe Budden gets so mad. He's like, this is the wrong time to bring up ASAP Rocky's quote about fuck people in Ferguson. Well, consider that this is a human rights, civil rights issue right now. Human rights. The Ferguson issue is in the United States, where the Rocky's from. Now he's got a situation out in another country, and he needs support on a human rights issue. And we're supposed to band together and support him. Free Rocky. I get it. When he was asked about Ferguson, he said, oh, also somebody like brought this up as old news, but this is the internet. You can't get rid of shit. He said, they asked, do you feel like you're being forced to address these issues, like the Ferguson issues? And he's like, they're not forcing me to do shit. I'm just gonna stay black and die. Why? Because I'm black. Oh, well. Excuse me. I'm just gonna stay black and die. Why? Because I'm black. So every time something happens because I'm black, I gotta stand up. What the fuck am I? Al Sharpton now? I'm ASAP Rocky. I did not sign up to be no political activist. I wanna talk about my motherfucking lean, my best friend dying, the girls that come in and out of my life, the jiggy fashion that I wear, my new inspirations in drugs, ! I don't want to talk about no fucking Ferguson and shit because I don't live over there! I live in fucking Soho and Beverly Hills. I can't relate. I'm in the studio. I'm in these fashion studios. I'm in these bitches' drawers. I'm not doing anything outside of that. That's my life. Hey, man. It is what it is. And that's the beauty of the world. Everybody gets to be a dick. So that's it. The only reason this is an issue is because people are arguing over it. And people just fucking go to any comment section of any of these YouTube videos. Dare we touch the comment sections of the video with the ASAP Rocky fight? ASAP Rocky, more like Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I was thinking that. ASAP Rocky Balboa. Like, you know, the dun, 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 dun. Free ASAP, bro. He did the right thing. Yeah, I don't know. If that was the right thing, then the Swedish police did the right thing. What is Swedish police supposed to be like? Oh, word. I see you. They were following you. Yeah, you're right. You should have done that. Bye. No, man. because he is a fucking he's a role model. He's supposed to set an example. Anyways, this is the only time that I can actually say free insert rapper because he did nothing wrong. I don't know about Sweden, but in America, stop means stop. Okay. Well, you know, it's really a matter of like, if you know that you can't control yourself in situations where people are following you, then you might need to call the police. It's like, I'm not saying he's a murderer per se, but if somebody was triggered enough to like go back to their murderous state, if they were a murderer once and they've been rehabilitated, but something triggers them, like fucking, I don't know, like watching horror movies or something, why would you put yourself in that scenario? Not that ASAP put himself in that scenario, but like, you should have a fail-safe. The fail-safe should be not, you shouldn't be putting your hands on people. I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. We don't know what's happened. So if he's truly justified, I can't say. And if it's like, there's just too many things happening. It's like, well, you don't know what it's like in the jail. And let's say it is unfair in the jail. Like, yo, dems the brakes, bro. Dems the brakes. Like, don't fucking jump people in Sweden. Like, just dems the brakes. Oh, well, what if you were in a situation? I don't fucking know what I would do if I was in this situation. I'm also not in a Swedish jail right now. Like, nobody forced him to be in the Swedish jail. I mean, yes, somebody forced him to be in the Swedish jail, but nobody forced him to jump those kids and stuff. And like, that was just a weird situation, you know. If you like consider just like, they're like jumping those kids, man, you know, it's ASAP fucking Rocky. I don't know. It's so draining. I don't want to watch the fight. You know, it's so fucking petty and fucking stupid. And I don't think there's something happening somewhere else in the world, but it would be cute if something else was happening in the world right now and we're all focused on this fight. I don't think there's something else happening, because this isn't like that high profile. This is just something that's like, it's high profile because he makes millions and he's like in all these different arenas. But that's what makes it weird, because you're in all these different arenas. It's almost like, what the fuck just happened? What did you just do? Be that as it may, I'm more like privy to be like telling people who are talking about human rights right now to just chill. You don't talk enough about rights in the United States prison systems to be like talking about ASAP Rocky's human rights. I'm sorry, it's just, yo, the same people who were like, oh, somebody was mad because Kim Kardashian was freeing and pardoning guys. She was like donating money to get people out of prison. She got about 40 people. I don't know, fucking a lot of people. And I was talking with somebody about this, and they were like, oh, well, of course she's going to get recognized for that, or I don't know. They said something that was like saying like, fuck her for that. Like, why does she get props for doing that? And it's like, I don't know, man. Like, nobody else is doing it. I'm not, no, you're not, we're not, we can't donate her money to like do that shit. So to be vocal about like, oh, fuck her efforts in freeing people who are not ASAP Rocky in United States, you know, inhumane treatment and shit, but then like he's over there and they're like, I don't know, what do you think? Am I unreasonable or whatever? I don't think I'm unreasonable. I think I'm pretty reasonable. No one knows how this is going to play out. No one knows all the details, all the thing. That's why this is a thing. We've seen the majority of it. We see it. ASAP is a man of image. He knows how to make things look good. Not to say he's like playing it on his side, but you do see that these guys didn't come out of nowhere in the video. It's like something had happened prior. I just loved all the misunderstanding in the video the whole time. There was just a certain point where they were just wanted to know who ASAP was. And they were talking to like the girl, and she's like, "Who? He just wants to know who are you." Let me see. He's like,
Go that way, bro. Okay, if we can we tell them who you guys are so they can
No, don't tell them nothing. Don't tell them nothing. They don't need us.
Okay, geen tell them.
see? Don't tell him nothing.
Okay, if we can we tell them who you guys are so they can
No, don't tell them nothing. Don't tell them nothing. They don't need us.
Okay, geen tell them.
We're going about his business. Tell them
She's like, can we tell him who you guys are so they can, and they're like, nah, don't tell him nothing. Like, they didn't even know who he was. And the thing that's what's funny is because when you come off as like bigger and you got a bodyguard and whatever, these guys, you're just walking through their streets, or not their streets, but he wants to know. He's probably fucking on something too. Who's this guy? What they just want to know, who's this guy? Can we just tell him who you are? Poor ladies, man. This is fucking retrograde bullshit, man. Miscommunication, and then people making rash decisions, and then that fucks up other people's money and experiences. You know how many people can't watch ASAP Rocky shows now because ASAP Rocky can't fucking contain himself? Whatever, man. It's not all his fault. I know that. But if it's not all his fault, it shouldn't be all about freeing him. He was part of the situation. Who's his bodyguard? What's his bodyguard's name? Free that guy too. You know? Like, what the fuck? Anyways. So what happens when you hang out and you're that high profile, man? You can't just be walking around in the street without fucking proper security. Should have known. Should hang out with Kanye more. Go fucking... Kanye doesn't go anywhere but Sunday service and home. It's a sad day. It's a sad day, man. Like, because I'm married, I'm so relieved that I don't have to go out and hunt. I never enjoyed the hunt. But man, these guys need to get like fucking Kanye and get a lady. Stop getting mad at who he's got. It's not like you wanted her, so get somebody. Poor fucking rappers, man. Yo, Future put up a post, and let me see. Oh, I don't know. It was on my Instagram. Future. He was on his Instagram live, and he's just like, you know, really close to the camera, and he's like up close, and he's just like, yeah, man, I just need a wife so that, you know, she can take care of me.
I wish I could tell you I was on my mind.
He's just like, man, I need to find, I don't know where the fuck. It was on Instagram. Somebody like, the post said, Future's about to drop some real deep shit real soon. And he was just like, hey man, I just need a wife. So she could take care of me.
Take care of me.
I mean, and it's true. It is what it is, man. It's I know why a lot of people are not getting married, and it's because a lot of people are just traditional. Somebody explained this to me the other day, and I was like, damn, I never looked at it like that. Most of America is still very traditional. Like, there's at least fucking 10% of people that still want slavery or want to go back to some form of slavery. There's a lot more percentage of people that want a lot more bad things to happen to a lot more people of color. So all that aside, a lot of people are going to have some very old school views about marriage. And I say old school because things are always changing. I don't think things always have to be everything always the same, and not all things have to be the same. And I think there's still a lot of things that we keep the same that should change a little and adjust with the times with the people. But, you know, that's fucking for another, like, conversation. What should change and stay the same? I mean, this is why I have this podcast, but I don't know. Anyways, marriage and relationships are one of those things that people are still very old school about in America. And here's an example. Paying for bills, paying for things, and doing stuff. It's still like a big deal if a girl pays for stuff. And I'll explain why. All the girls who have heard, ladies who heard that statement, I'm talking about, you know, just traditional guy-girl thing. For this example, all the girls who are like, oh, no, I do that. Of course, I do that, and that's no big deal. Like, not all your friends do. You're probably the only one. Or it's very few and far in between. And you say that to people. Like, the fact that you have to say, oh, I've totally paid for bills before too. It's like, well, it's not about, it's like, that's like saying you have black friends. I totally have black friends. Like, I've totally paid for guys' bills before. Who cares? It's not about that. Because at the end of the day, a marriage is like a business agreement. So when you talk about like who you want to settle down with, then the conversation changes. And it's not only the responsibility on the women, but the women have to say yes. And traditionally, the dude asks. So it's like, most people are broke. Most people my age are broke. And the concessions you have to make for a broke lifestyle, especially when it comes to marriage or it comes to living or it comes to doing things, is tough, you know. And I'm not the poster boy for anything per se. I know that my experience with getting married and my experience with just going from single and for fucking just no action, just drought for fucking 3.5 years, 3 years or something, like off of a consistent routine, it makes for just, you know, interesting perspective. So with my marriage and my relationship, my wife's German. She's from East Germany, which means she was on the side of the wall, or her people historically were on the side of the wall that was occupied by Russia. They're a bit more communal with their ideals and what they're just living in, whatever. It just makes for a different kind of environment. And be that as it may, my wife's a little older than me, so that helps in the fact that she was just a little bit more established than I was when I had just moved back to New York. And New York is a tough place to live. So, you know, deciding to get together, not to say it was her decision, but she had to be okay with the fact that I don't have a diamond ring. I'm broke. Not broke, but just You know, we ain't got it. I have enough to be happy. I mean, at least in my world, I was living in my fucking parents' basement, like, you know. And I won't get into the details of like why it's a beautiful thing that she chose me. You know, I kind of prayed for her, but it's unreal. She's the woman is the test for me in this situation. But not to get too off the rail, most women are not going to be like, all right, I'm gonna ask that dude to marry me. It just won't happen. Because I was dating, I was in the scene. We swiped right on Tinder, and we both were looking for the same thing, so the timing was perfect for it. But now I gotta pee.
I was talking to a friend of mine who was trying to expand his studio business, and well, he said he could use more customers. So I said, well, why don't we run an ad for you? He's like, nah, I don't really want to run an ad, because when you run an ad, you're kind of like not just keeping it to your clientele and your certain type of people, you're kind of expanding it to these people that may not necessarily be hard workers or may not want to pay, or, you know, people that aren't really going to be good customers. And I responded to him and said, well, those are people you have to say no to. And, you know, he froze. He's like, oh, wow. That makes a lot of sense. You know, you want to be at a position where you have to say no. Saying no is one of the hardest things, because we don't even say no to ourselves most times. So learn to say no. So learn to say no to yourself, and then learn to say no to others who have things to do with you. Trust me, people will get over it. Think about how many times somebody said no to you about something, and you're still here working, you're still here trying, you're still here grinding. So learn to say no. If you're always saying yes, people will take you for granted, and you don't want that. So learn to say no.
Okay, so you know, in America, dudes just tend to be like bum asses. Like Americans are just generally bum asses. We're generally lazy. We're generally like our hard work is like we find a faster, more efficient way to do it. You know, like we think better is going to New York to like do it faster and better and stronger. It makes you fucking smart, like that shit. Like that's America. And then, you know, the same thing for entertainment. They're like, well, LA, if you are anybody that knows anybody is in Los Angeles. And yes, true on many levels. But that's the thing. We don't like make things. We make ideas and like feelings and shit, like entertainment and stuff. We don't make hard product. So the idea of work in that kind of sense is like, I don't know. Not everybody is a fucking manufacturer. Producer, yes, maybe, but not everybody is like. There are crafty people. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about fucking export, you know, steal that shit, the shit that makes up your economy, the rubber, the plastic, like that kind of stuff. We're not good at that. Anyways, so traditionally, it's like the dude gets on his knee, presents the ring. But now everyone decides that it's like, forget that tradition. We're going to have women and men in the same workforce all working together. And then it becomes this big ass competition, because the women now are like, well, if the dudes can sleep around and the dudes can all go to work and fuck her off and whatever, the women can do that. So now you have like equal playing field all around. And everyone's basically at a Mexican standoff. They're all pointing guns at each other. And then it's like, oh, well, and I mean that in like, you know, every relationship you're waiting for that one thing to go wrong, like whether they cheat or whether something happens or some bullshit. You know, traditionally with me, it was like, how long until she asks or make a request that I don't want to oblige? And I'm like, fuck that shit, I'm out. That's how it is with dudes. It's like you get to a point, for me it was usually 6 months. Like everything's going well, and then you're like, one day she asks you to do something, or because she changes it. That's the thing with women. They change what it is they want. Women are never all like they. Yes, they may stay the same core wise, like ideals and stuff like up front and shit like that, but they change. Everybody changes. Don't forget, this is the perfect ninjas change. This is a cult about change. And they change the script. When they first meet you, they are not going to... it's like, I can give you a million examples of the way they change the script. The first they say they're not going to put out, then they put out. Oh, I'm not that type of girl, or whatever. Whatever. It could be anything. And I don't want to derail too far off of... because I know where I'm going with this. When they flip the script, it's up to the dude to say whether or not he wants to stay. And the dudes may flip the script. Nowadays, you have so much power shifting because male roles are now female roles, and female roles are now male roles, and then girls and girls, and guys and guys, and girls who identify as guys, and guys who identify as girls, or girls who identify with guys, and all the everything possible, all the possibilities, right? But the fact remains that there needs to be someone who's stronger and who's weaker, a dominant and a submissive. Just not extremely, like they can be equals. They're both looking forward. That's great. But even in the situation with two powerful people, like because we're talking about powerful people, all these like superstars, super celebrities, like Kanye and Kim, like powerful people. They're both looking forward, right? Yes, they're looking at each other sometimes, but power is when you're both looking forward at the road ahead. She's obviously stronger than him. Whether it's psychologically or it's fucking financially or it's fucking, you can smell it. Do you know for sure? No. But she obviously loves him enough to be with him and all this bullshit. And this is the kind of when I say untraditional. People get so mad at that relationship. They're so mad at that relationship. And they're like, oh, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, Kanye and the decision. Like, Kanye's cool, Kim's not, whatever. Like, fuck everybody. Fuck all off. Like, how dare anybody be in anybody's relationship? You don't sleep with them. And they don't owe you anything. So these are the reasons why when it comes to fucking defending Rocky. It's like, if there was a good woman there, he wouldn't be out with 5 niggas beating on some fucking Swedish dudes or Arab dudes, Like, I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't fucking matter. Like, it does, but this is the thing. I don't think he should be in a relationship. But let's go back to the traditional thing. So the reason why people are traditional is because when you bring up this kind of stuff, they're like, oh no, I totally are fucking am not the thing, but they know that they're the anomaly. And so how that works is American women, or most American women, are broke too, or as broke as the dudes, or you guys are like equal. And so what happens is, because you guys are both working, it becomes a competition. And the competition then becomes like, if she's doing better and you're playing video games, she's gonna fucking get on your ass. Or if she's doing more and she comes home tired and then you're not doing something because you're resting, but you haven't been providing up to the point where she, that kind of stuff, that's where the beef comes. And that's when I say it's untraditional, because forgive me if I'm wrong, but if a dude is providing, and he's working and the woman's not, or she has a couple of side gigs, or she's able to like spend more time focusing on supporting him or something silly, if he comes home from work, or he comes upstairs from work or downstairs from work or wherever, and he's not working and he's relaxing, in that situation where he is paying for most of the bills, if she says something about that, he has more leverage. And traditionally that's how it's always been, to the point where like dudes are like beating women but whatever, or hitting them, whatever. So nowadays you have women earning just as much. You have this like all these the scripts being flipped. So now when the dude comes home and relaxes, or when the dude has that same relaxation thing where he wants to chill, this is not the only way this happens, but her getting on his ass is she has way more leverage, because she could be paying half the bill, she could be paying all the bills, she could be, you know, it could be a situation where she is carrying just as much stress, if not more, than him. Or she could have her name on the lease, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And in those situations, we're all human. We're all human. We all want help. We're all human. We all want to be good. We're all human. We all want to be loved and supported and stuff. And nobody wants to work hard, especially Americans. And so when a woman's tired, an American woman is tired, that tiredness is like, in the American tradition and culture, it's like, you don't deserve that. Now, you may say you pay for dudes' bills, but you haven't met a dude who you believe in enough, who you want to put all of your futures betting in. And I always thought I was not the dude. You know, my parents even fucking sometimes talk to me like I'm not the dude. I think especially more my dad than my mom, but like, when I mean not the dude, just not, you know, like when you look at them, you're like, man, is that dude gonna find a woman? One of my dad's friends told me once, I'm gonna fucking eat these words. One of my dad's friends told me once, he was, I don't know what, I was fucking single before I met my wife, like shortly before. He was like, oh man, Naeem, you know, blah blah blah, whoop de whoop, what you up to, whoop de whoop, that's good, you know, in life. And you know, something about finding a woman, something about family, think about job, future, etc., or whatever. Just think about establishing yourself as something, or getting in some place. I don't know what he was trying to tell me, but the example he gave me was, I don't want you to end up on the street 40 by yourself with no one to call and no one to have and no roof over your head. And I was like, shit. Because 40's not, you know, I mean, 40's coming soon to a theater near you. And I wouldn't want that. It would suck if that would be the case. I was already like 26 without a lady or wife or whatever. I don't know. But this is the thing. This is where we go back to the tradition. It's like, most of America is still very traditional about how they feel about a lot of this kind of stuff. So they thought that I would never be able to be in a situation because I wasn't in the position to provide. I too thought I wasn't in a position to provide anything, so it wasn't like women were going to be lining up to want to marry me. That being said, I met my wife. She's not from America. She's super, and I say super untraditional. This is where it goes. Super untraditional. So she's not traditional. So she's very much doesn't give a fuck. Like, with or without me, my wife is going to live her life. Now, there are certain things that are more fun with other people, so she wouldn't be doing if I wasn't involved with her. But that's the thing. Like, because I came to the table with not as much as she did, like, economically speaking, I felt traditionally I didn't really have much leverage or much to say. There's nothing I can really do. I'm more honored than anything. And that shit runs out very quickly with an American woman. You know, I mean, I don't know many girls who you can just take and know that they know, or, you know, you live in your parents' basement and you can take them home, and, you know, and she's cool with the fact that your parents are like I don't know, super traditional and old school, and like there's a lot more to understanding a person and accepting a person don't want to see. This is where it gets complicated because love is a fucking complicated thing. The point I'm trying to make is I ain't never seen that shit in like American partnership. Usually when both people are broke, or the woman is earning more, she's more likely to want to call to action certain things from him. And then it like kind of like forlorns, like they're, you know, moving into that next step of getting married, because then it's like the family and who's in this and, you know, who, what, whatever, and what do they think and blah, 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 and this bullshit. And me and my wife, we went and eloped. I say we eloped. We technically didn't elope, but we just kind of like went and got married by ourselves. My parents did the same thing. My parents got married at 4 a.m. You know, in Islam, you only need one witness, and in addition to the minister. Their witness was the father of Omar Epps, the father of the black guy from House. The black guy from House, his father was my parents' witness at the wedding. But we did the same thing, me and my wife. And I mean, my wife has a very interesting relationship with her parents too and her family, so it just added up and made sense. Now, it's not to say that you can't do that in America and that shit doesn't happen in America and people don't find that shit in America and blah 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 blah. But in America, people are so damn fucking like entitled. We're just like, you know, like I deserve this or whatever, like I need this, you know, like what does Kanye say, we want prenup? That's pretty funny. But nobody's got really much to prenup. So everybody's trying to protect their assets and whoop-de-whoop and la-la-la. Now, because my lady is German and she's from another country and she grew up in another country, just where language is different, thought is different, everything's different. It just makes for dope relations when you both are looking for something different. And it just works. So, you know, now here's the American in me. I'm always like, one day she's gonna realize that I'm just a dick, I'm just a dude, and all the flavor and magic of me will wear off. I always imagine that one day she'll just realize I'm just a regular ass dude, and maybe that'll happen when I'm 40. And then she'll leave me and I'll be by myself. But see, this is the thing. It's like you can't control everything and all that stuff. I'm just saying, this really wouldn't necessarily have happened if I was with an American girl and we both were like working through it. And I think because we do silly things like, yo, our rings are made of carbon, so they're like super cheap. Our rings are like it's fucking glow in the dark in the middle and it's carbon on the outside. I think I can make it work. Nah, it's not the time. Anyways, that shit, like, it's just low overhead. We're just low overhead. We didn't have a big ass wedding. And does everybody need a big ass wedding? You don't. You really don't. It's really not that. It's not like that. It's not that big a deal. It's really not. And that kind of shit, it's to the point now where Americans are just, they look for the easier route. They're like, the easier route than that is, fuck, let's just not get married. Let's just keep it fucking chill. Or whatever, man. You know, just they're trying to keep the fucking, the balance balanced. The fucking, like, power balanced. Because once you get married, you're both forced to, like, keep tabs on who's earning what. Because if you don't have any prenup, whatever you guys have from that point on is split. So yeah, if at some point I earn millions of dollars off of some entertainment shit or some music shit, and my wife thinks that I'm a hoe at that point, or a bum ass at that point, or just I have sold my soul for some reason, and she wants to leave, or we want to split, yeah, she will get a good piece of that. Because now she's doing the investing. Now she's allowing this time, and now she's allowing this growth, and now she's allowing the bum-assness of being an artist to manifest. And I think that's very, very special. She doesn't see it that way. The reason I'm talking about it this way is because this really has more to do with how I look at myself. So if there's any reason why she would leave me, it would be because I continue to lack the confidence that is required to be with someone who's willing to marry someone who doesn't have, all of their ducks lined up. Because life, you never will have all your ducks lined up. It's never perfect. You're a ninja, but you're not a perfect ninja. And if you are perfect, you're perfect for never. So, a lot of people are very still traditional. And what that means is most people don't want to work, but they don't want to admit that they don't want to work, and they don't want to admit that this is the thing that you gotta split, this energy workload thing. So when you get in an untraditional situation where the woman's carrying the workload or paying the footing the bill, it might explode faster. It's more volatile when it's all American. Am I telling guys to import their women? Nope. Am I telling girls to import their men? Nope. Diversifying doesn't hurt. We're definitely in an age where fucking the last thing we need is fucking homogenized bull. I think we should call it. All I was trying to say with the married thing is, man, if those dudes are married, poor Future. Why doesn't Future have a wife? Right? It's because there's no other Kim Kardashians left. And if you become a Future before you find a wife, you're gonna have to find a wife that isn't actually lazy and actually just in it for the ride, who's actually down to do and be something, who isn't I don't want to say isn't crazy, but isn't gonna fucking isn't gonna vindictively ruin your shit. And I don't know what Future's like. I don't know what he actually does, and I don't know what his lifestyle is. But just if he wants a woman, a wife, or some shit, you're gonna have to look in a place where it'll require you to change, and that is the part of the laziness that Americans just don't want. Man, it's the things that I can't and couldn't be when my lady decided to get serious, and we decided to get serious. I would still, if I wasn't with her, would love to fuck tons of bitches. But the thing is, with humans, guys, or with people, the ever so consuming bacteria that we are, we just want to fuck. So it's not that we're looking for all of the pussy. We're just looking for an unlimited amount. We're just looking for, because we're gonna bust a nut anyway, so we might as well bust it in the safest place possible. And the safest place possible is in some eggs. But we don't want to move too fast with life, right? So what do? You find a consistent place to bust the nut happiest as possible. Same for women. So because we as humans are so smart, we found a way to circumvent the incessant need to have to reproduce. You can't fight the urge to want to reproduce. And I think that being married, it just you just choose I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm not the fucking professional on this shit. I'm just saying. Future's looking for a wife. It's a damn shame he can't find one. Fucking ASAP is beating people up in the streets, and he should have a lady. He should be not doing that. And not to say he shouldn't be out there, but there's a way to do it. And I haven't really tapped into the whole performer, like being a performer and having a wife thing completely yet, but this is like part of it though, you know. And like just having, we'll see what my wife is like when things like blow up to where I can't be at home as often. But that's part of the whole fucking being married, man. When you're married, you decide that the compromise you're gonna make is the compromise that you like. With dudes, it's like the woman's gonna ask you the thing that you don't want to do, and you have to do it, and that's the thing. Being married is basically like doing what you don't want to do because you love someone. Like that's kind of like a relationship, but the difference between a relationship compromise and married compromise is in marriage, you like every argument you're gonna have to get through, because it's not like the arguments that you have are going to be able to break you. You know what I mean? It's not like you're gonna be able to be like, can you stop? Can you get down? Can you get down? It's not like the arguments, it's not like you can just be like, oh, you know, all right, well, fuck you, I disagree, and then you leave, you know, or something like that, or like, let's break up. Nah, when you're married, it's like, this is it, this is the person, so you just have to work it out, and communication's huge. So if people don't want to be the thing, see, that's the thing, you want someone like this in your head who you want to marry, but in order to get this, you have to be this, and nobody wants to be that to get that, and nobody is that, because if you were that, you would be married. You know what I mean? If you were that, you'd be in the relationship, and I learned that a fucking loony way, but that's the thing. Be, and I'm not talking about be what you want to be before you get the thing and dress for the job you want. It's like, it's kind of like that. It's like you kind of have to like apply for the job and dress for the job and like practice. It takes practice. So I don't know, you decide, and it's great when two people decide together that they want to like constantly make compromise for each other, and that's dope. Where are the women that are going to make compromise for these men? We're out here fucking passing around bullshit ass online petitions to free Rocky. That's not how this works. Fucking figure out a lot more than that, man. Figure out a lot more than that. Did you see Kanye's Sunday service, by the way? The Say You Will? That shit had me crying, man. It's the good shit. Yo, I think we should call it, man. Perfect podcast for never. Bassick Conceptz.
Yeah, boy!
ASAP Rocky is just suffering from another situation, another episode of when keeping it real goes wrong. If you can't keep it in your fucking pants when it comes time to fucking speak to a girl, don't go speak to girls. ASAP, obviously, him and his mob can't keep it in their pants, and they went out to go and speak to girls. But not that one, not those. Alright, man, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. I love you. Deuces.
Down on our knees.